The high-stakes reality show follows 16 celebrities who signed up for 10 days. She couldn't make it 10 days? Oh, girl. Okay, maybe I could make it 10 days. Unlike typical reality competition shows, the contestants must self-eliminate or be deemed unable to compete due to an injury to leave the course. So you don't even get voted off the island or anything? She was there for 2 days and couldn't make it another week. Okay, girl. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. How are you doing on this fine? What is it today? Friday. I am doing quite well. I actually had a party last night for my little sister. She's having her first baby. Hooray! So both of my younger sisters are going to have babies before me. Ooh. So speaking of younger sisters, we need to talk a little bit about Jamie Lynn Spears. Okay, so before I even had time to even discuss and react to the fact that Jamie Lynn Spears is on this new show on Fox called Special Forces.
If you should die, that is nature's way of saying you've failed.
This girl done up and quit. She done quit the whole show. Now, I do want to talk a little bit today about Britney Spears' reaction to Jamie being on the show, or at least Britney Spears' official Instagram's reaction. I mean, it's no secret and it's no argument that at least 5 to 8 people do have the login to Britney's Instagram. So, I mean, at any given time on any given post, your guess is just as good as mine as to whether or not Britney actually posts any of this crap. But her official Instagram account does say her official Instagram account did say something about Jamie Lynn Spears being on this show. Now that post has been deleted. So your guess is as good as mine. But we have a lot to go over today because I want to do a little reaction to like 6 minutes of compilation footage of Jamie Lynn on the show. Just for transparency's sake, I've not watched this show. There's just these compilation clips that I've seen. I'm hoping that this doesn't get copyright claimed by Fox. I'm going to make me bigger and the screen of Jamie Lynn Spears smaller. And maybe I'll like fast forward through some of the parts and stuff like that just to avoid that. But I do want to watch that together with y'all. Now, not only have I come across a compilation of clips of Jamie Lynn on her very, very short-lived experience on the show, but I also dug through the internet and I spent a whole 7 minutes looking for the clip of Jamie Lynn quitting. So let's just watch a little bit of the compilation. Let's see Jamie Lynn's come up on the show, and then we will look at her eventual very, very fast downfall on the show. So this particular compilation, I think, is about 6 minutes long. Again, I'm going to probably fast forward through some of this and make it go fast and make it sound a little weird just so that we can avoid getting copyright claimed. Because when your video gets copyright claimed, not only can you not make money on it, but it actually gets suppressed because YouTube wants to be able to make money on stuff. So that's why content creators will always have to do weird stuff to these clips in order to make sure that y'all actually see our videos. So without further ado, let's get into a few of these clips of Jamie Lynn Spears, and this is just my reaction. I have seen the first probably 2 minutes of this, and then the rest of the 4 minutes are going to be a whole surprise to me. Ooh, girl, she is not looking good. Me and Prem have very recently gotten into the show Survivor. I know it's so old school, but we've been going back and watching other seasons like from 2012, 2013, stuff like that. And the survivors look kind of rough, but I feel like they really make these people look real rough on this Special Forces show, just from what I've seen in the previews. Oh. He looks nothing like it. Okay, I will say the first time somebody calls me buffoon clown, I'm signing off the show too, just to be completely transparent. Like, I don't want to get hollered at by some drill sergeant. Who do you think you are?
All right. How do you think you did?
Okay, so I have seen this scene. She has a moment. And I do want to say, just to be abundantly clear, I do think Jamie Lynn Spears has severe and serious PTSD from that incident that happened with her daughter, where her daughter almost DROWNED. I don't know if what I'm allowed to say on YouTube anymore, but her daughter had a very severe experience where she was trapped under some water in a pond, and Jamie Lynn Spears was in the water trying to save her. So I think Jamie Lynn Spears probably does have some legitimate PTSD surrounding that incident. And that I'm not going to make fun of her for because that's very serious. And the child didn't do anything to deserve being made fun of. She was a little girl. She was just having fun. And so, I mean, I do think it is sad that Jamie Lynn Spears has this whole moment and everyone around just kind of like, okay, well, it's over now. But that just goes to show how Hollywood is. That is how Hollywood is. That is probably how the military is. Like, this isn't a place for feelings. This is a place for dissociating from your feelings and entertaining people. Ew. Okay, I'm definitely going to be blurring that part out. Ew.
All right, stand up, stand up. Stand up. This one. Why are you crying?
Yeah, and honestly, as much as we make fun of her and stuff, it's just kind of like the Brandon Novak situation. Like, I can't help but as a human being feel really bad for Jamie Lynn Spears in this particular moment. I know I'm just a sucker. I just cannot help it. That's just how I am. I'm sensitive. And I do feel for her. And I do think that this is a legitimate reaction. I think she really is freaking out because she's being reminded of that incident.
Wait. Hold on. But you're still here. Okay. Sit on your rock.
Y'all, I knew it when I was 16 years old. I could never be in the military because they just, I need something else that ain't this.
Jamie, okay?
The worst part's over. You did it.
I'm doing my liver cleanse. We have to drink 32 ounces of apple juice every day. Don't mind me.
I didn't know what it felt to be like that.
I want to be fair. I like to try and be fair to some extent here on this damn channel. I would not do well crossing my arms over my chest and doing a backflip nosedive off of a helicopter. I would just not be doing too good back diving off of the side of a helicopter. I wouldn't be doing good. And I don't have any traumatic experiences in the water either. I just wouldn't do good. So I gotta give credit where it's due. That is scary. I'm not sure I would have been able to do it. That is scary. Landing on your face, backflipping off a helicopter. What is this show about?
Let's go. All right, let's go. Follow on. Come on, then. Give me your thumbs. All right, trust me. The reason.
Oh Lord, they done got something over these people's heads. No, this show is gonna age like an avocado.
Doing this is to get to know every weakness, every skeleton in the cupboard.
Hell no. Y'all, okay, listen. Jamie Lynn Spears, not in my top 5 favorite humans on earth, I must say. But there's no way I would do this show. Absolutely not. I would be quitting too. But honestly, I wouldn't even signed up for it. This is scary.
That means sit down.
Jump scare.
So, during the backwards dive today, you had somewhat of a meltdown a little bit. What was that about? You okay? Just take a breath, all right?
When I had to save my daughter, or try to save her from an accident, I had to propel myself into a pond. And I didn't realize.
I wonder if these guys, these two like sergeants or whatever, are even aware of this story, or does Jamie Lynn Spears just assume everybody on earth knows about the daughter? Or did Jamie Lynn Spears have to tell them about it already? I haven't watched the show, y'all. I'm just watching the compilation of her on the show, but I am wondering, does she just walk around like acting like everybody knows about this story?
How much like your body remembers things.
My
Right about that.
8-year-old was in.
So Jamie Lynn, I'll probably take that part out just for copyright considerations. But Jamie Lynn just told the story of how her daughter was trapped in a pond and she couldn't get her out. Then when the paramedics finally showed up, they pulled her out and they laid her on the ground. She wasn't breathing, all that trauma. And again, I'm not trying to diminish it. I'm sure it was extremely traumatic. So she was having like flashbacks to that incident while she was doing the backflip nosedive off the side of the helicopter, which checks out.
So you just had a flashback to that awful situation that's happened in the past. But you know what? It's the past.
And she's here, so.
It's
Honestly, y'all, I don't really expect special forces sergeants or whatever to know about trauma or be trauma informed. And if anything, they are like, their whole job is to just kind of be like, oh, well, it's over. Like, move on, be the super soldier you need to be. But like, I just can't imagine this is a place for someone to go who doesn't have good coping skills to deal with their trauma. And again, y'all, like, I will make fun of Jamie Lynn Spears all day, all night. But this particular instance, it seems like Jamie Lynn Spears needs somebody to be like sensitive to this traumatic event or whatever. And this guy's like, oh, well, that's in the past. Like, you having flashbacks to the past, girl, you're in the past. It's like, sir, you as a special forces sergeant or whatever, you know, he is or whatever, should know or be at least informed about trauma to the extent that like people who aren't actually in the military are going to be coming here and like maybe they're going to have some issues. But at the same time, I can imagine that these celebrities signed up for the real deal. And I think it's interesting and I think it's important to see what the people who sign up to protect this country, to protect our rights, because that's what they think they're signing up for. This is how they get treated. And forever and always, it seems like when they come back into, you know, integrated into more like a civilian style life, people are like, okay, well, whatever happened to you over there, it's in the past. It's like sometimes people just need to be heard and listened to and be able to effectively and in a healthy way reprocess that trauma. And it's like, this ain't the spot to do it. This ain't your therapist's office. We'll put it that way. You ain't on an ayahuasca retreat. We'll put it that way.
I think that's probably a good reason for you to be here, to face your demons and fight through it.
I think it hit me right. Yeah, it hit me head on.
I do agree with that part. I mean, you are here for a reason. You are going to have to fight through your traumas if you're going to make it on the show, which clearly Jamie Lynn Spears did not. Spoiler alert. But I see the both sides there.
What are you exactly trying to get out of this for yourself?
That's a good question.
I guess I just want to like myself, just feel like I'm just like worth something.
Why do you feel like you're worthless?
I just feel like every time I work really hard to get something of my own, it's like it's not really worth it. I mean, growing up, my sister became famous, worldwide famous when I was.
Now, this part where she's about to cry and complain that Britney Spears ruined her life, basically, this is the part that I think Britney or her official Instagram responded to. So this part right here is what Britney took issue with, I think.
Very young.
Your sister did.
Yeah.
She says, my sister got famous when I was very young.
Right.
And so I'm so proud of her, love her to death. And
I don't like that phrase, love her to death. I don't like that phrase. To death? I just don't like it.
My sister became famous, worldwide famous when I was very young.
Your sister did.
Yes.
Right.
And so I'm so proud of her, love her to death. And
oh, y'all, I done got a glitched out video. The version of the video I got has this whole part glitched out. I'll have to see if I can try and find this particular part again and play it, but let's see if the whole video is messed up.
I don't know, I just feel like sometimes I don't really know to have anything for myself.
Stop beating yourself up. No one's judging you, only you. Let's get rid of the past and let's go forward.
That's not true. People are judging her, sir.
We don't quit, do we?
I will say, Jamie Lynn Spears looks like James Parnell Spears could have given birth to her.
What don't we do?
We don't quit that.
We don't.
This show is giving Biggest Loser in the worst ways, like traumatizing people for no reason. I mean, I guess for some reason it's for our entertainment, but I'm not really entertained.
Disappear.
I certainly would not be doing this show. But I would do Survivor. Should I go on Survivor, y'all? Should I send in an audition tape to Survivor? I feel like I would say I'm a YouTuber, but I wouldn't tell them I'm a lawyer because I think that gets people like voted out earlier.
The tribe has spoken.
Saying, I was trying to catch my breath. Ugh. I was struggling in there, bro.
Who else is on this show? Anybody I would know?
I'm freaking exhausted too, man. I'm ready for bed.
Just make it through the night.
So I guess this is after some type of challenge. They look kind of sad. They are all shaken up. The men, the women, they're crying. Oh, look at that hand. It's like a pterodactyl.
We'll make it through the night. Yeah, okay.
Let it out. Tomorrow we gotta go to war. And you gonna cry at the end when they call your name and they say you made it.
I don't think that Jamie Lynn's gonna be crying at the end when they say she made it since she quit.
Get in there! What do you mean?
Now they got these people doing hand-to-hand combat. No.
I've never been in a fist fight. I can't see myself doing this, but that's why I'm here, to push past that and see where I can go.
Number 7, go!
She might take a couple jujitsu classes. Should I take jujitsu? I've been thinking about it. Only thing is I'm gonna have to get rid of my nails, and I kind of like having them.
I just believe in being able to defend yourself. I mean, I'm from Detroit. You got to know how to fight.
Look, listen, what I think they should have put her up against Jamie Lynn Spears.
Stop! 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 Stop!
He was real in the zone. This sergeant had to yell stop like 4 times.
Calm down. Remove the wide-eyed stare of death. And when I said stop, you needed to stop. You still laid in a couple of blows. Strong effort. It was a terrible effort.
He's telling everybody else, look, you got too into it. Your emotions were too into it. He told somebody else, strong effort. And he gets to Jamie Lynn. He goes, that was a terrible effort. Y'all, they got her looking all kind of ways on this show. Okay, that was the whole thing. Okay, so now I'm going to try and find the clip where Jamie Lynn talks about Britney because it got glitched out in this version. Okay, I don't know. I spent a while looking for it. I can't really find it, but the gist of the interview, whenever, they took that bag off of her head and all that, was basically Britney became famous when Jamie Lynn was very young, and she kind of never felt worthy. She didn't feel like she ever was able to do anything on her own for her own, and then when she does do stuff on her own, it doesn't feel like it's worth it or whatever. I did come across this article, and it's an interview with one of the Special Forces sergeants or whatever. This is from The Decider. Jamie Lynn Spears tearfully self-eliminates from Special Forces. We're going to watch that clip. Don't worry. But it says, day 2, it makes me feel like a crap mom. This was posted 2 days ago. After an emotional tear-filled 2 days in Wadi Rum, Jordan, Jamie Lynn Spears handed her armband and left Fox's Special Forces. At the start of episode 3, which aired on Wednesday, Jamie Lynn told fellow contestant Mel B she couldn't make it another day filming and wanted to head home early. I miss my children. The Spice Girl offered to listen to and help Jamie Lynn get through the journey if she stayed, but Jamie Lynn made up her mind and sought out a directing staff agent to hand in her armband. Okay, so we'll watch this video part, so we're not going to read all this dialogue. Though the actor's early exit may have surprised viewers, look at this part, it certainly didn't faze the DS agent. And this is his quote or her quote. We as DS know when someone is going to quit. We see recruits stuck inside their own brains, feeling sorry for themselves. And once they get to that point, there is no turning back, the agent told cameras. So it looks to me like the people who were on the scene observing Jamie Lynn thought that she was just there to feel sorry for herself, and she wasn't really trying to tough it out and push through. The high-stakes reality show follows 16 celebrities who signed up for 10 days. She couldn't make it 10 days? Oh, girl. Okay, maybe I could make it 10 days. Of grueling Special Forces-inspired training exercises. In addition to Spears, here's all the people on it. Headed to the desert to test their strength, but unlike typical reality competition shows, the contestants must self-eliminate or be deemed unable to compete due to an injury to leave the course. So you don't even get voted off the island or anything? Girl, she was there for 2 days and couldn't make it another week. Okay, girl. Listen, I never would have signed up for this show. It's not something I ever would have signed up for, but once I signed up for it, I think I would have just gone ahead and tried to follow through. In the 2-episode Special Forces, Spears emotionally addressed everything from her teenage pregnancy, her daughter's near-death experience, to feelings about Britney. Just feels like, okay, so here's a quote. It just feels like every time I work really hard to get something of my own, like it's not really worth it. I mean, growing up, my sister became famous, worldwide famous, when I was very young. And so I was proud of her. I love her to death. And then, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes I don't really know how to have anything for myself. After the first physical challenge, which required recruits to dive backwards off a helicopter into a body of water, Spears struggled with flashbacks of her daughter's drowning and had a sleepless night. I just feel like I'm being a shitty mom. Like, I shouldn't leave my kids like that. Jamie Lynn told her fellow recruits, I cannot handle being, cannot is one word, y'all. I cannot handle being this far away from them. I'm not cut out for it. Since the premiere aired, Britney addressed Jamie's tears, and on-air comments in a now deleted Instagram post. It's worth noting that Britney's fans... Okay, let's read Britney's response to Jamie Lynn Spears before we watch her quitting video. Here's another quote from that same interview that got cut out in our glitchy little video. She said, "I'm extremely proud of my sister, but also have my own identity and be expected to be seen as my own person." So she wants to be seen as her own person. BuzzFeed is funny. Well, as many fans anticipated, it wasn't long before Britney fired back at her sister with a lengthy response. So we finally made it. This is what Britney's official Instagram page had to say shortly after that interview where Jamie Lynn Spears said she was proud of Britney, but she felt worthless and all that, had aired. Britney says, "Are we going to say it was hard being my sister? 4 question marks. Really? Well, this was my spa plan at Vegas as my childhood friends had their heads held high with a seat for toes and nails and a bottle of champagne for each one of them while I stood at the door, not allowed to go in. But bet your bottom dollar they got their entertainment from me that night. I've learned from the best. Do we dare set aside our self-care and acknowledge a childhood friend? Why, no. We teach her the meaning of mean and then throw her away in the end with no self-rights. You want me to share it on telly? I'd rather spit in their faces and trash them on Instagram because that's all my family has ever been to me. P.S. Here are pics of what nerve damage can do, which I have in the right side of my body and it goes numb every night. Not a victim story or crying about it because I was never a big deal. Ooh. I sat in a chair for 10 hours a day and no rights for 4 months. They hurt me and nothing was done except that I lost 15 years of my life with my family owning my name. Subjected to being an angel while my dad has 5 women on his tour bus drinking that cup of coffee. So cool and smooth. It must have been nice owning my name for 15 years. It honestly blows my mind the hardships you say you have had with having me as your sister. I'm sorry you feel that way, but don't ever poke at my broken foot in a kitchen telling me to go to the doctor because my foot infection might infect your royal children." So that post has now obviously been deleted from Instagram. Now what we're going to do is watch the footage of Jamie Lynn Spears actually quitting the show. Okay, so here is the clip of Jamie Lynn quitting the show, which just aired on Wednesday. Today's Friday.
I miss my children if I'm away from them for like, a couple hours. I miss them. So this is a very big leap for me.
Why are you crying?
It's just like, oh, my baby.
I'm sure she does miss her kids and stuff, but I can't help but think about Britney Spears, who was kept away from her children for years. 10, 15 years. However old they are. And not only was she kept away from them, but they were used against her as bargaining chips, as carrots and sticks. The custody of her children, the visitation with her children, it was something that was held over her head. And now we have Jamie Lynn, who can't even make it 3 whole days on a reality competition show that she agreed to go on. I just can't help but feel very bad for Britney. And it's like, I just can't help but wonder if Jamie Lynn has any empathy for Britney in this situation, because look at her squawking and crying on reality television for the entire world to see. But Britney Spears had her kids held from her, literally the kids' whole entire lives. That's all I can really think about.
It probably goes back to a lot of things. Not only do I just love them and want to be with them, but also being away from them like this, even if it's for myself, it makes me just like a crap mom, They didn't ask for their mom to be gone.
No comment.
They didn't ask for their mom to be gone.
That is true. They didn't ask for their mom to be gone, but they might be happy she's gone for a couple days. I really don't know. I wasn't there.
So I'm gonna need your wristband.
Thank you so much.
So that was basically it as far as the clips I was able to find. Like I said, I didn't watch the show. Maybe there was more to it somewhere. Maybe there was more. Obviously, there must have been more leading up to it, because in the beginning of the scene, there was someone, I think it was Mel B, saying, hold out, I'm here for you, I'm going to be here. But learning about the rules of the show, that it's only 10 days, she had already made it to the 3rd day, and it was literally 1 more week to go. It seems like maybe she just didn't want to keep doing the show. And honestly, if that's true, I respect that a lot, because I would not want to do this show either. but I wouldn't sign up for it. And she signed up for it. And it just kind of gives me personally a little bit of insight into Jamie Lynn Spears as a person, because it just shows me that she's a quitter. She doesn't have any determination. She has no follow through, and she doesn't stick to her word. Those kids knew how long that she was supposed to be gone. It's a week. It's one more week. Every single one of us has had to go for a week without our mom because she had to go do something very important. It just shows me she's a quitter. She probably just never has had to follow through with anything for the purpose of survival. And I cannot relate to that. I went through years of trauma and turmoil, suffering and tribulations because I had no other choice. And it just shows and reflects more on what we already know about Jamie Lynn Spears, that she is entitled and that she gets her way no matter what. If she wanted to quit because she just wasn't having a good time, that's what she should have said. And she shouldn't have put it on her kids. I think the kids thing could be true, but also could just be she didn't want to be called a buffoon and a clown and have to do all this physical labor. And listen, if you don't want to do that, just say that. But the whole thing about being a crap mom and this and that, if she can see that for herself and can't see it for Britney Spears, I don't have a whole lot of empathy, because Britney was separated from her children their whole entire lives. People got in between her and her children. People used her children against her as tools, as the carrot and the stick, custody, visitation, stuff like that, to make her perform so that hundreds, if not thousands of people could make a lot of money off of her. And so I don't feel sorry for Jamie Lynn Spears that she can't make it 3 days without seeing her kids, because it happened to Britney Spears for years. And she didn't get the choice to turn in her armband. She had to get up on that stage and sing and dance and do whatever her handlers were telling her to do. And the fact that Jamie Lynn Spears is still continuing to act like somehow Britney Spears is the reason for her unhappiness in life, I'm not buying it. And that part of it, I don't feel bad for. That's all I really have for today. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, Meet it, K, bye.